is that win.
Thank you very much, gentlemen. Another solid performance there coming out of H2k, just getting the picks they needed and then closing it out very cleanly. And in the first game, SK Prime came out with the Akali pick, this time a counter pick to Kassadin. I don't know if that's what I'm supposed to call it. We've seen a couple here over yesterday as well with the Swain, with the Alistair. What's your report card on the Kassadin?
So, okay, that's a fail. I mean, I'm going to be very honest about it. It's the first time we've seen Smitty playing Kassadin. It's the first time we've actually seen Z's playing Tristana in the EU Challenger Series as well. So they're pulling out new champs. But there was very little innate synergy. Orianna, as well as the Kha'Zix, there's no default champion that can go in to land a shockwave that can then stay in a fight. Everybody that was going to jump in was going to die instantly. On the other side of the coin, H2k had a much more well-rounded composition with that Maokai, with the Ahri, and it was comfort picks. I mean, they've already won with that composition before, so I'm not entirely convinced by SK Prime pulling out the super late scaling comp, super late champion, super late scaling comp, when they're more of an aggressive team anyway.
Yeah, and you got to wonder whether it's simply a case of, as Deficio mentioned, it's like, Kassadin's available, quick, lock it in. Who's going to play it? I don't want it. Anyone want it? And then suddenly it was like, oh, go on, I'll play it in the top lane. Against the Maokai is never going to work. Never got going, never got the resets. Never really had anything able to, because a Kassadin needs something to start the fight off. He can't be the one that goes in to start with. And you look at the team, there's nobody to go in to start with. The Kha'Zix is looking for resets. The Tristana's looking for resets. Everybody wants a reset. It wasn't going to happen.
Yeah, I also just want to add to the fact, we've seen a couple of times where the Kassadin was looking for plays, would teleport a minute early for Dragon. Joe and Deficio were really highlighting how it was just very poor decision-making and poor planning on the side of SK Gaming Prime. And it's not something that you can get away with at this level. You can't waste those cooldowns. You can't be out of position when the team fights come around.
Yeah, absolutely, especially not around those objectives. Let's actually take a look at one of the Dragon fights of the game. Let's pull that up on your screen where, well, H2k get their picks once again.
Actually, just by chance, this is the Dragon fight that Smitty was late for. So if you look in the base, he's already recalled and he's trying to, hot tail it back to the Dragon pit as quickly as possible. Roll the clip out and you'll see H2k are grouped up as a nice 5-man unit. SK Prime get caught, and that's what an engage looks like. Oda jumps into 4 members of SK Prime. He's a tank, he's built like a tank, and he's going to survive long enough. So Eco's going to carry on running forward. Febiven's going to end up getting a double kill. But the main problem for me is Smitty just overcommits. The fight is over at this point. There are 4 members of H2k still alive, and Smitty's like, want, and ends up giving up more kills himself.
Yeah, he just went too deep. Absolutely too deep. More importantly, Oda, something we saw throughout that game. Splash twisted advances, and they were perfect. Started everything off. Like you said, that is an engage.
Yeah, great stuff. Well, actually, SK Prime's game maybe reminds me of what the Copenhagen Wolves had been doing recently. They pick these late game champions, and then they just jump in at all the moments that they shouldn't. And as such, it wasn't going very well with them. So let's flow back into the next replay around Baron, which actually sealed the deal.
Yeah, I mean, there's a long time between the Dragon fight and the Baron fight, and it was very controlled from H2k. They never had an insurmountable lead, but they strategically made no big mistakes. Roll the clip out, and this is just a near perfect Baron bait. H2k pull members of SK Prime in, and the instant they're in range of the skill shots, H2k react. Great Dark Bindings, another aggressive twisted advance, and all props to AOD. His Morgana was phenomenal.
Yeah, it's just fantastic stuff, honestly. Overall, as a team, and you got to wonder now, is SKP on tilt here, because H2k are looking great. Of course, we wondered when they got through. They obviously knocked out Unicorns of Love. We thought, are they the real deal? Unicorns of Love looked fantastic yesterday. H2k, are they the #1 seed?
Yeah, very interesting. And again, now, this time around, What the Fox on Orianna. So you would say very much a comfort pick, I think, for any mid laner. And he didn't wait it out. Sometimes a 1-person shockwave, a 2-person shockwave. Is it the stage? What is it? Because I did expect a lot more out of him.
I think that it is. I mean, SK Prime may have suffered from a similar problem that Millennium did, that they were planning and preparing and scheming coming into the LAN final, instead of just playing what they're comfortable on. I know that Zyrene was quite active on Skype and talking about how SK Prime, when they're playing aggressive and sort of early game champions and really looking to brawl, they do well. And this was simply not the case. They looked to brawl in game 1, and it didn't work. So that could be Panic Station's new wild card, and it didn't work out either.
Yeah, you just wonder whether that's simply a game plan. H2k knew it. Like, if we know it, they know it, that's for sure, because they are way more experienced at playing their opponent. They would have played SK Prime a bunch of times before, obviously across tournaments, DreamHack, etc. So they knew exactly what they were going up against. So maybe they've just planned it well and executed a great game plan so far. Can they go 3-0?
We will see. And for SK Prime, of course, good that they then have the jitters here on this stage now, and then maybe for going forward, they know how to work with that.
Good point.
All right, we've got to take another quick break, but when we return, it's game 3 of the